Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Donna. I'm going to be taking us through a mat Pilates flow today. All you're going to need is a block and a band, but the props are optional. If you want, you can tack on some ankle weights or some wrist weights. I'm just sticking with the block and the band. Today. I hope today is not one of those days. We're going to go ahead and get started lying down on our backs. You can place the props off to the side. And we're just going to get connected with our breath. Taking a big inhale through the nose. And a big exhale, side out. One more breath like that, in through the nose. And side out. This time, breathe in through the nose. And on your exhale, push the air out like you're blowing air out of a straw. In through the nose. And out through the mouth. Three more breaths just like that. Inhale, breathing into your back and your side body. And exhale, knit your ribs together. Inhale nice and deep. And exhale, engage your core, pull your belly button to spine. Last one, your deepest breath in. And your deepest breath out. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Extend your legs out long if they aren't already. Full body stretch. Reaching through the fingertips and the toes. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And exhale, hug both knees into your chest. Give them a tight squeeze. And then open your arms out to a goalpost or a T. You're going to lift your legs to tabletop and then cross your right leg over your left. Inhale and exhale, drop your legs over to the left side. Gaze goes over your right shoulder. Holding here for 3, for 2. On one exhale, lift your legs back up through center and reverse the cross. Inhale and exhale, drop your legs. Holding for 3, for 2. On one exhale, lift your legs back up through center. Hug both knees into your chest and then place your hands on either one of your knees and begin to draw circles with your knees going away from each other. For 3, for 2. On 1, reverse the direction, going this way for 3, for 2. Last one, pause in the center. Bend your knees and plant your feet down on the mat. Your palms are going to rest down at your side. We're going to practice some bridging just to warm up. You're going to tuck your tailbone under. Feel the rotation of your pelvis first, and then slowly roll all the way up to the top of your bridge and pause. I want you to make sure that your ribs are not flared out. You're not sticking up like this. Push the air out. Tuck your pelvis under. Ribs are hugged down. Belly button is pulled to spine. Find this position first at the top. Squeeze your glutes. And then slowly lower all the way back down. And your feet are parallel. They're hips width distance, so make sure that they're not too far apart and they're not too close together. They should not be touching. And then lower all the way back down. Tuck your tailbone under and slowly peel up one vertebrae at a time until you reach your shoulder blades. And then slowly lower it all the way back down, releasing at the bottom, and then tucking and rolling back up to the top. You lower it all the way down, nice and slow, and then roll it all the way up to the top. We're going to do one more like this. Nice and slow. Roll it all the way up to the top and lower it all the way back down. Hug both knees into your chest. Give them a tight squeeze. And then place your feet back on the mat. Hands interlaced behind your neck for support. warming up the core. Inhale, exhale, crunch your head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat. I want you to make sure that you're lifting from your core and not by bending your neck. Inhale, lower. Your head should hang heavy in your hands. So you really shouldn't have to be using your neck at all. Your head shouldn't even change positions. It's just lifting because you're engaging your core. It's following the rest of your body. I like to think about pulling up from my shoulders and pulling my ribs down toward my hips. Exhale as you lift. Inhale as you lower. Exhale, lift for 5. Inhale, lower. Check in with your feet. Make sure that they're hips width distance. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 3. Inhale, lower. Push the air out as you lift for 2. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 1. Inhale, lower it all the way back down. Extend your legs out long. Reach your arms up overhead. Inhale. Exhale, lift your arms up above your chest. Tuck your chin to your chest and slowly peel yourselves off your mat, one vertebrae at a time, keeping your spine curved, and then forward fold over your legs, holding here for 3, for 2. On 1, roll it all the way back so our spine stays curved. We're not pausing in the center with the tall spine. We're just going to keep the curve the whole time. Inhale, your arms reach up overhead. Exhale, your arms lift up above your chest. Tuck your chin. Peel yourself all the way up. Reach for your toes. And then roll it all the way back down. Nice and slow. Inhale. Exhale, lift your shoulder blades, your upper back, your mid back, and finally your low back. Reach for your toes. And then lower it all the way back down, touching your low back, your mid back, your upper back. And lastly, your head. Inhale, 2 more. Exhale, roll it up. Reach for your toes and roll it all the way back down. Last one. Inhale, exhale, roll it up. And lower it all the way back down. Inhale, your arms reach up overhead. And exhale, you're going to go ahead and bend your knees, plant your feet down on the mat. You're going to grab your block, and then you're going to lift your tailbone up off the mat and slide the block underneath your sacrum. We don't want it too high up so that it's under my back, but you don't want it too low so it's under your butt. It's underneath your sacrum. You'll feel the bone there. If it's uncomfortable, it's probably too low or too high. It should just sit right under there. If you don't have the block, don't worry about it. You don't need it. You can just slide it right out. It's just adding another level of instability. Arms are going to rest down at your sides. You're also going to grab your band and it's going to go just above your knees. Palms are down on the mat. I want you to have a little bit of pressure in the band so your knees are not touching. They're pressed out. On your inhale, you're going to keep that 90-degree bend in your legs. You're not going to move your knees at all. Just from your hips, lower your legs down, tap your toes down onto the mat, and then exhale, lift your legs back up to tabletop. Make sure you're not letting your knees drop in over your chest. They're stacking just above your hips. Inhale, lower and tap. Exhale as you lift. Be mindful of your core here. As you lower, your core is engaged. You're not arching at all. This part stays still. And then exhale, you're lifting them back up. Inhale, lower and tap. Exhale, lift for 5. Inhale, lower and tap. Exhale, lift for 4. Inhale as you lower and tap. Exhale, lift for 3. Make sure you still have that 90-degree bend. Inhale, lower and tap. Exhale, lift for 2. Inhale, lower and tap. Exhale, lift for 1. Now extend both legs up to the ceiling. Legs are straight. We still have some pressure in the band. Inhale, lower both legs down. Exhale, lift both legs right back up. Inhale, lower both legs down. Exhale, lift them up. Same thing. Your upper body is not moving at all. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower for 5. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower for 4. Exhale, lift. Inhale, going as low as you can while maintaining your core. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower for 2. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower for 1. Exhale, lift. Now we're going to inhale, lower the legs down. Bend the knees into tabletop and then extend both legs up to the ceiling. Inhale, lower. Bend the knees in. Extend both legs up to the ceiling. Inhale, lower. Bend it in. Extend it up for 7. Inhale, lower. Exhale, bend it in. Extend it up for 6. Remember, we have a little bit of tension in the band. Bend it in. Extend it up. Your upper body's completely still, so you should really feel it in your core as you lower your legs. Last 4. Inhale, lower. Bend it in. Extend it up. Last 3. Bend it in. Extend it up. Inhale, lower for 2. Bend it in. Extend it up. Inhale, lower for 1. Bend it in. Extend it up. Now we're going to inhale, lower the legs down and find your edge there as low as they can go. Your right hand is going to come behind your neck for support. Left hand stays down on the mat. You're going to exhale, crunch over to the left and hold. Lift the left leg straight up to the sky. Lower it back down and then come back through center. If your right leg floating is hurting, you can bend your right knee and put your big toe down on the mat. You're going to crunch over to the left, same thing. Lift the left leg, lower the left leg, and come back through center. You're really trying to get your right shoulder blade up off the mat. Lift, lower, and come back through center. Or you crunch, lift, lower, and come back through center. So make sure that you're not lifting and lowering as you crunch. You're crunching first, then you lift and lower. Exhale, crunch and twist. Right shoulder blade lifts, left leg lowers. Come back through center. We're here for 4 more. Lift, lower, and come back through center. You're here for 3. Lift, lower, and come back through center. For 2, lift, lower, and come back through center. Last one, lift and hold. Hold it lowered. You're going to pull your left knee in and then extend it straight out. Pull it in, extend it out. Left knee in, left knee out. You're here for 5. For 4, right shoulder blade is lifted off the mat. For 3. For 2, on 1, hold your left knee in, find the 90-degree angle, and then inhale, tap your left toes down. Exhale, lift your left leg to tabletop. Remember, if you need to, your right big toe can come down to the mat. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. If your right leg is lowered, I want you to make sure that it's bent and you don't just have your leg hanging out in front of you, because that's going to make you arch. We're here for 3. For 2. Last one. Hug both knees in and go ahead and swap sides. So now your left hand is coming behind your neck for support. Right hand is down on the mat. Both legs extend up toward the ceiling. Inhale, lower your legs down to hover an inch off the mat. You're going to crunch over to the right, lift the right leg, lower the right leg, and come back through center. Remember, we're twisting, lift, lower, and come back through center, and you can have your big toe down. Twist, lift the right leg, lower the right leg, and come back through center. Crunch and twist, lift, lower, and through center. Exhale as you crunch for 5. Lift, lower, and through center. Exhale, crunch and lift for 4. Lift, lower, and through center. Exhale, crunch and twist for 3. Lift, lower, and through center. Exhale, crunch and twist for 2. Core is now starting to burn, and through center. Last one, lift, lower, and hold. Now we're pulling our right knee into our chest and then extending your right leg out, really trying to get that left shoulder blade up off the mat. Pull your right knee in and extend it out. Right knee comes in, right knee goes out. In for 5 and out. In for 4 and out. In for 3 and out. In for 2 and out. In for 1. We're holding it here. Tap your right toes down to the mat. Exhale, lift them right back up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Left shoulder blade is lifted off the mat. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 5. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 4. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 3. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 2. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 1. Hug both knees in. Go ahead and remove the block. And then windshield wiper your legs from side to side, releasing your low back. I love putting the block underneath our sacrum. I feel like it just elevates the core so much, but it is so painful. We're going to go ahead and place the block underneath our right foot. And we're staying down on our backs. Arms are resting down at our side. Left foot is on the mat. You want to just tuck your tailbone under, same thing that we did at the beginning, and slowly roll up to the top of your bridge, pausing at your shoulder blade so that your ribs don't flare out. Tailbone is tucked underneath, and then slowly roll yourselves all the way back down. We're going to move a little bit faster than in the warm-up. You tuck and roll all the way up to the top, and then slowly lower it all the way back down. Inhale, exhale as you press and lift. Inhale as you lower it all the way back down. And you want to make sure that you're squeezing your glutes up at the top and then lowering it all the way back down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. We have 4 more. Exhale, lift and squeeze. Inhale, lower it down. Exhale, lift for 3. Inhale, lower it down. Exhale, lift for 2. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 1. Inhale, lower. Now you're staying at the bottom. You're going to extend your left leg straight so that it's long out in front of you on the mat. Foot is going to be flexed. You're going to exhale, press into your right foot and lift your hips up to the sky fast. Your leg is extended up to the ceiling, left leg. And then you're going to slowly lower yourselves down 1 vertebrae at a time. When your hips touch, then you lower your leg down. So you really fast as you lift, squeeze up at the top, and then slowly lower it all the way back down, point and lower. Exhale, flex and lift. Inhale, lower it down, and point and lower the leg. Exhale, flex and lift for 6. Slowly lower it down and point and lower. Exhale, flex and lift for 5. Squeeze your glute up at the top. Make sure that your ribs are not flared out and lower it down. And remember, we're peeling ourselves up and then same thing on the way down. So you're not just lifting up and down with a neutral spine. You're actually rolling up to the top and then slowly lowering it all the way back down. Last 3, exhale, lift and lower it all the way back down. Last 2, exhale, lift and lower it all the way back down. Last 1, exhale, lift and hold. You're going to tap both hips down on the mat. And then exhale, lift and squeeze. So your left leg is going to stay extended up to the ceiling. Tap. Exhale, lift and squeeze. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower for 5. Exhale, lift. Really press into your right foot to get your hips up nice and high for 4. Exhale, lift for 3. Make sure that your left leg is not dropping into your chest. It's stacked up above your hip. Exhale, lift for 2. Exhale, lift for 1 and hold. Inhale as you point and lower your left leg to hover. Exhale as you flex and lift it right back up. Inhale, point and lower. Exhale, flex and lift. Inhale, point and lower. Exhale, flex and lift. Press into your right foot a little harder to lift your hips up another inch. Check in with your ribs and make sure that they're not flared out. You're only here for 3 more. Exhale, lift. For 2. Exhale, lift. Last 1. Exhale, lift and hold. Pulse your hips up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Stay up on 1. You're going to bend your left knee and then, I don't even know what to call this, thread your left foot underneath your right thigh and then extend it right back up to the ceiling. So you're going to bend your left knee, your left foot goes underneath your right thigh, and then you extend it all the way back up. We thread the needle under and reach it up. Thread the needle under and extend it up. Thread the needle and extend. You're here for 4 more. Really press into your right foot to keep your hips up high. Thread the needle and extend. Last 2 and extend. Last 1. Extend and then slowly lower yourselves all the way back down. So make sure we're not just flopping down. We're lowering with control. Hug your knees into your chest. Give them a tight squeeze. And then place your hands behind your knees. We're going to rock and roll 3 times. And I want you to pause without letting your toes touch down on the mat. So you're going to rock and roll up, pausing up at the top. My toes don't touch. And then we roll it back up to the top. Engage your core. Pause. And then round your spine. Roll it back. Last one. We're pausing at the top. And then you're just going to cross your ankles, move that block, and go ahead and flip over. And you're meeting me in your tabletop position, but we're lowering down onto our elbows. And the block is going to come right in between your elbows. So you're really like up against it, not far away from it. Your elbows are touching the block. Palms are down on the mat. You're on your knees. Toes are tucked under. We're pulling up from our belly button. Lift and float both knees up off the mat. And then you're just going to tap them down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Gaze is down on the mat to protect your neck. Exhale, lift for 7. Inhale, lower. Your knees are floating maybe 2 inches up off the mat. No more than that. So we're not extending our knees. We're just floating them up. Exhale, lift for 4. Exhale, lift for 3. Exhale, lift for 2. Exhale, lift for 1 and hold. Press the band out and in. Out and in. Nice and slow. We're not pressing. Out and in. Out and in. For 5. 4. Knees are floating. For 3. For 2. If your knees are super high, lower. Last 1. And then lower your knees down onto the mat. Right leg is going to stay at a 90-degree angle, and you're going to stamp your right foot up to the ceiling and then lower your right knee down to meet your left. Really making sure that you're not moving anything in the center of your body. So my core is completely still. I'm pulling up from my belly button. I'm not arching my back to try to get my leg up high. My core is engaged, which means my leg is only going to go to a certain height, and that's totally fine. You're going to exhale, press it up for 5. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 4. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 3. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 2. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 1. Inhale, lower. Now we're opening out to the right side. Fire hydrant. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift and squeeze your glute up at the top. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift and squeeze for 8. Inhale, lower. Really press into that band as you lift. Inhale, lower. Lift for 6. Inhale, lower. Make sure you're pressing into your elbows so you're not sinking down into your shoulders. Lift for 4. Lift for 3. Lift for 2. Lift for 1 and lower. Now we're going to lift back to the back. Find this height first. This is where I want you to come every single time. Now we're going to cross right knee behind left. Right knee lifts back up through center. Right knee, right tricep. Right knee lifts back up through center. So it never lowers down except for when we're crossing behind left. Lift. Right. Lift. Left. Lift. Right. Lift. So we're going behind the knee, cross to tricep and lift. For 4, lift, cross, Lift, really press into your elbows so you're not sinking down into your shoulders. Make sure you're pulling up from your belly button, and notice how the only thing that's moving is from my hip. Last two. Last one. And we pause with our leg extended back. Now make sure that your elbows are squeezing up against that block. You're going to press into your palms, lift up, squeeze the block so it lifts with you, and then you're going to extend your left leg, English you guys, sorry, your right leg straight back as you lift. We're going to lower back down onto our elbows and bend our right knee at the same time. So everything bends and you lower, and then you press, extend your elbows, extend your right leg back. You're going to bend, tap your elbows down, and then extend and lift it right back up. Bend and lower, extend and lift. Bend and lower, extend and lift. Last three. Lower, extend and lift. Last two. Lower, extend and lift. Last one, lower, extend, lift, and hold. We have the block in between our elbows. We're tapping our right toes down. Exhale, lift and squeeze. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift, press into your palms so you're not sinking down into your shoulders. Remember that the center of your body is not moving at all. You're pulling your belly button up. You're squeezing your glute to lift your right leg so it's not going all the way up in the air and flaring up. You're literally just lifting it by squeezing your glute as high as that means that you can get it. You're here for 3. Exhale as you lift for 2. Exhale, lift for 1 and lower. We're adding on. You're tucking your right toes under. Right toes are down on the mat. Pull your left knee in. See if you can tap the block with your left knee. Left knee comes down. Right toes lift. Right toes down. Left knee in. Left knee down. Right toes lift. Right toes down, left knee in, left knee down, right toes lift. Down, in, down, lift. Down, in, down, lift. For 4, in, down, lift. For 3, in, down, lift. For 2, in, down, lift. Last one, in and hold. Extend your left leg straight back. Find your high plank. When you're in your high plank, you're squeezing the block. I want you to sink down into your shoulders, everything that I said not to do, and then press into your palms and lift up from your shoulders. So the rest of my body staying completely still. My butt is low. I'm in my high plank. Scapular push up. You lower and lift. Squeezing that block. Notice how my elbows are not moving. I'm just sinking into my shoulders and pressing up. Last 4. For 3. For 2. Last one. Find your plank. Go ahead and release the block. And then you're going to grab the block in your right hand. You're going to pike your hips up and back and then reach your right hand with the block in hand for your left ankle. Come back through your plank through center, block comes down, and then we rotate over to the right side, extend the block up toward the ceiling, find your side plank. Block comes down to the mat. We reach it back, come back through center, and open. You can also do this a little bit modified. Get rid of the block, just press back, come back through center, open, and lower. So we're not doing the reach. You just press back through center, open, and lower. Or you press back and reach through center, open, and down. Last 4, center, open, making sure you're really rolling your shoulder blades back every single time, finding your full side plank. And you come all the way through your plank every single time. Last 2, press it back, find your plank, find your side plank, and close. Last one, forward, side plank and hold. Pulse your hips up for 10, 9, slow, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it here on 1. Hold your side plank for 10. Maybe you float your top leg up. 9. Whoa, I fell. 8, 7, 6. You can tell I'm sore. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it all the way back down with control. Press it back to your child's pose. You can take the block in your hands and let your head hang heavy in between your hands. And pause here. You have 3 breaths to take whatever you need. Take a sip of water. And then we have all of that over to the other side. And when you're ready, walk your knees forward and you're just gonna lay back down on your back. The block is gonna go underneath your left foot this time. We're starting from the top of our bridges. Palms are down on the mat. You're pressing into both of your feet and rolling all the way up to the top of your bridge. Pausing at the top. Remember, our ribs are not flared out. Tailbone is tucked under. If I put a little marble here, it would roll all the way back down to my face. And then we lower it all the way down, 1 vertebrae at a time. Tuck your tailbone under and roll all the way up to the top of your bridge. Squeeze your glutes and then lower it all the way back down. We tuck and lift, squeezing at the top and lower down. 5 more, nice and slow. Roll all the way up to the top on your exhale and lower it all the way back down. Last 4, lift and squeeze and lower it down, and make sure that your feet are hips width distance. They're not too close together, too far apart. Press and lift for 3 and lower it down. Exhale as you press and lift for 2 and lower it all the way back down. Last one. Lower all the way back down. Now you're going to extend your right leg long onto the mat. We're pressing into our palms, pressing into your left foot, lifting your right leg up. As you lift your hips up, right leg is extended up to the sky, foot is flexed. And then we're going to slowly lower our hips down 1 vertebrae at a time. When your hips touch, then your right leg lowers. We flex, exhale, press and lift. Inhale, roll it all the way back down and lower your right leg down. Exhale, press and lift, and then slowly lower all the way back down. And press and lift and lower all the way down. Really driving up through your heels, squeezing your glute up at the top, and then lowering, touching 1 vertebrae at a time. We have 4 more. Inhale, lower. Rona's joining us. Exhale, press and lift. And lower it all the way back down. Can you guys even still see me? Inhale, lower. Exhale, press and lift. And lower it all the way back down. She has to wear this poor donut. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Lower it all the way back down. Last one, you're going to inhale, lower. And I'm going to scooch. Exhale, press and lift and hold. We're tapping our hips all the way down. Exhale, press into your left foot. Squeeze your glutes up at the top. Inhale, lower. Exhale, press and lift and squeeze. Inhale, lower. Exhale, press and lift. Making sure we're not flaring our ribs out. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 5. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 4. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 3. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 2. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 1 and hold. Now we're going to point and lower our right leg to hover. Exhale, flex and lift it right back up. Inhale, we point and lower. Exhale, we flex and lift. Inhale, point and lower. Exhale, flex and lift. Inhale, point and lower. Exhale, flex and lift, point and lower for 4. Exhale, lift, drive through your left heel to keep your hips lifted. Inhale, lower for 3. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower for 2. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower for 1. Exhale, lift and hold. Pulse your hips up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, stay here on 1. We're going to thread the needle under and then extend your right leg up to the ceiling. So you're bending at the right knee and then tracing your right foot underneath your left thigh and then extend right back up. Hips stay lifted and you're trying to keep your hips level with each other. Thread the needle under and then extend up. We're here for 4 more. And extend. For 3 and extend. For 2, really drive through your left foot. Last one, extend it up and then slowly lower all the way back down. Hug your knees into your chest, give them a tight squeeze. And then we're rocking and rolling again. This time I want you to try and not use your hands. So you're going to roll up to the top, find your teaser, and then tuck and roll it back. No hands. We stop at the top. Our toes don't tap down on the mat. Last one, inhale, lower, exhale, roll it up and pause. Go ahead and move the block, cross your ankles, and flip it over to meet me in your tabletop position, back down on our elbows. Block is coming in between your elbows, and we're on our knees, pulling up from our belly button. Core is engaged, pressing into your elbows so you're not sinking down into your shoulders. Toes are tucked under. We're floating our knees up off the mat, and then tapping them back down. Exhale as you lift. Inhale as you tap, making sure that you're only lifting maybe like an inch or 2 up off the mat so that I'm not straightening my knees. I'm just floating them up off the mat, keeping that 90-degree bend. Exhale, lift for 5. Exhale, lift for 4. Exhale, lift for 3. Exhale, lift for 2. And on 1, we hold it up, press the band out nice and slow for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees down onto the mat. We're squeezing our elbows into the sides of the block, stamping our left foot up to the ceiling, keeping that 90-degree bend in your leg. Inhale, lower it down. Exhale, you press the left leg up. Inhale, you lower. Making sure that our upper body is not moving, our core is engaged. We're pulling up from our belly button. Exhale, press and lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 5. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 4. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 3. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 2. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 1. Inhale, lower. Now left leg opens out to the left, fire hydrant. Exhale, lift and squeeze your glute. Inhale, lower. Press into the band, drive your left knee out to the left. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 4. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 3. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 2. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 1. Inhale, lower. Now we're lifting our left leg straight back. Exhale, lift. And then we're crossing our left knee behind our right, lifting back up through center. Left knee, left tricep, and up through center. Left knee behind right, up through center. Left knee, left tricep, and up through center. Left knee behind right, up through center. Left knee to left, and through center. Left knee behind right, and through center. Left knee to left, and through center. Last 3, center, left, center. Last 2, center, left, center. Last 1, center, left, center, and hold. We're squeezing our elbows into that block, pressing into our palms, lifting up and extending our left leg straight back. And then we're going to bend the elbows, bend the left knee, and lower down. Press and lift up, and then bend and lower. Press and lift, bend and lower. Press and lift, bend and lower. Last 4, lift, bend, and lower. Check in with your center. You're pulling up from your belly button. There's no arch in your spine. Elbows are pressing into the block. Extend and lower. Last one. Lift and hold. Elbows are squeezing the block. We're tapping our left toes down to the mat. And then exhale, lift and just squeeze your glute to lift your leg. So I'm not using momentum. I'm not lifting my leg and arching. I'm pulling up from my core. Center of my body is still. Lift and squeeze and lower it down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. My butt is on fire. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 5. Exhale, lift for 4. Exhale, lift for 3. Exhale, lift for 2. Exhale, lift for 1. We add on. Left toes come down. Right knee lifts and pulls in to try and tap that block. Right knee comes down. Left leg lifts. Left toes down. Right knee in. Right knee down. Left leg lifts. Left toes down. Right knee in. Right knee down. Left leg lifts. Left toes down. Right knee in for 5. Right knee down. Left leg lifts. In for 4, down, lift, lower. In for 3, down, lift, lower. Really make sure you're pressing into your palms. You're not sinking down into your shoulders. Last one, we pull it in and hold. And then extend your right leg straight back. Find your high plank. We're sinking down into our shoulders, keeping my elbows straight. So the only thing I'm doing is sinking into my shoulders and then press into your palms and lift up. So you'll feel your shoulder blades come together and then separate your shoulder blades nice and wide. Down and up for 5. This is really going to help with your posture, strengthening those back muscles there. Last 2. Last one, go ahead and get rid of the block. The block is going in our left hand. We're pressing our hips up and back, reaching back, finding your right ankle with the block, and then coming through, finding your high plank first. My butt is low, and then reaching your left arm up to the sky, rolling your shoulder blades all the way back, side plank, and then come back through center through your plank. We press back, reach the block for your ankle, come back through center, and then open up to the side. And remember, we can get rid of the block. We're just going to press our hips up and back. Both hands are down. Come back through center, open out to the left and through center. Or we reach back with the block, come through center, open up and through center. We're here for 4 more. Come through center. My hair probably looks crazy. Open up and lower it down. Last 3 and through center, open it up and lower down. Last 2 and through center, open it up and lower down. Last 1 through center, open it up, and we're pausing in our side plank. Pulls your hips up for 10, 9, nice and slow, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, you hold the side plank for 10. Maybe you float that top leg up and don't fall this time like me. For 7, 6, 5, 4. It's the last push. You've got it. 3, 2, 1. Lower it back down with control and press it back to your child's pose. Go ahead and remove the band from your knees. And then walk your knees out nice and wide in your child's pose. Reaching far through your fingertips, sink back onto your hips. Really feel the stretch. Inhale, walk your hands out a little bit further, and exhale, sit back onto your hips. On your next inhale, walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. Left palm goes over your right. Feel the stretch all through the left side of your body. On your next inhale, maybe you walk your hands a little bit further to the right and sit your left hip back down onto your feet so you really feel the stretch from your shoulder all the way down into your hip. Walk your hands back through center and then over to the left side. Your right palm goes over your left. Really feeling the stretch this time in the right side of your body. Coming back through center. Shift your weight forward, find your tabletop position on your hands and knees. Inhale, arch your belly, lift your head and look up. And exhale, round your spine, gaze goes to your navel, separating your shoulder blades nice and wide. Inhale, arch, roll your shoulders away from your ears. And exhale, round and look down. One more, inhale, arch and look up. And exhale, round and look down. Meet me in a neutral spine. And then just walk your knees through your hands, extend your legs out long onto the mat in front of you. Take a big inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And exhale, forward fold over your legs. Holding the stretch here for 3, for 2. On 1, stack your spine all the way up. You can take anything else that you might need, but we are done for today. I am so sorry about last week. I only posted 1 video. Something came up, but every week I'll be posting 2 videos. So keep an eye out for those, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much. Bye.